No franchise has rewritten its identity quite like the Chicago Bears have this offseason. In a league that rarely rewards haste, Chicago has turned from a team mired in perpetual rebuilding into a squad now radiating ambition, direction, and, most unexpectedly, legitimacy. Just a year ago, the Bears were a picture of dysfunction, running in circles with no clear finish line in sight. Now they enter 2025 not with cautious optimism, but with real, dangerous momentum. And at the heart of that momentum is a transformation so sudden and dramatic that the only question left to ask is this: was it brilliant, or will it all come crashing down? The arrival of head coach Ben Johnson marked more than just a change in leadership. It signaled a total shift in purpose. Johnson isn't here to talk about patience or long-term development. He's talking about winning immediately. And the front office has answered his energy with bold moves across the board. Their approach wasn't about grabbing headlines or chasing stars. It was about structure. Building from the inside out, winning the trenches, and most importantly, protecting the future they've invested everything in: Caleb Williams. The Bears rebuilt their offensive line with purpose and precision. They didn't chase potential, they acquired proven, playoff-tested veterans. Joe Thuney, a four-time All-Pro with championship credentials. Jonah Jackson, a former Pro Bowler who thrived under Johnson in Detroit. Drew Dahlman, fresh off back-to-back top 10 seasons as a center in Atlanta. These aren't Band-Aids, they're the foundation. For the first time in years, Chicago has a unit on the offensive line that looks like it belongs, not just on paper, but in playoff conversations. And yet, underneath the surface of this newly forged identity lies a precarious truth: none of it has been tested. This line, as hyped as it is, has yet to take a single snap together. There is no chemistry, not yet, and there's certainly no guarantee they'll stay healthy. Dahlman has battled ankle injuries in back-to-back years. Jackson's shoulders have been a recurring issue. Ryan Bates, the team's interior swing lineman, hasn't seen the field all offseason. If one domino falls, if one starter goes down, Chicago could be looking at plugging critical holes with a sixth-round rookie or an unproven depth piece. That's not insurance. That's gambling with your franchise quarterback's future. The uncertainty continues at tackle. Braxton Jones is still recovering from surgery. Rookie Ozzy Trapilo may have long-term upside, but he hasn't earned anything yet. Kieran Imagaji could end up moving inside instead. And most importantly, none of these players have ever lined up next to Joe Thuney, who is expected to be the steadying force of the group. But steadiness doesn't always equal cohesion. This isn't a matter of assembling talent. It's about alignment, rhythm, trust. And trust takes time. Time the Bears may not have. This offensive line will be the fulcrum on which the entire season pivots. Because at the center of this new era is a quarterback not just carrying the offense, but the entire weight of the franchise. Caleb Williams wasn't simply drafted as the top pick, he was anointed. Chicago hasn't had a true star at quarterback in generations, and the city isn't asking for progress anymore, it's demanding results. And to his credit, Williams enters his second year with every tool a quarterback could want. Ben Johnson's offense is tailored to his strengths. DJ Moore and Rome Odunze form one of the most electrifying wide receiver duos in the league. The tight end room runs deep, versatile, and dangerous. But for all the hype, there's one fact nobody can gloss over. Williams has yet to prove himself in the NFL. Not fully. His rookie season had flashes of brilliance, yes, but it was also marred by a brutal 10-game losing streak and a staggering 68 sacks taken. That number doesn't just speak to poor protection, it reveals the learning curve, the pressure, the cost of being the chosen one. Now the expectations are louder, the spotlight even hotter. Every throw will be scrutinized, every mistake magnified. The Bears didn't just hand him the playbook, they handed him the hopes of an entire fan base. And while his talent is undeniable, his pocket presence remains a work in progress. If he hesitates even for a moment, if the line stumbles, all that promise could dissolve into the very chaos Chicago just spent an offseason escaping. While the offense has stolen the spotlight in Chicago's dramatic overhaul, there's a looming concern on the other side of the ball that could quietly undo all of it. The Bears are heading into the season with what looks like one of the thinnest edge-rushing groups in the NFL, and no one seems to be talking about it. Montez Sweat and Deo Aduyembo will headline the pass rush, but after them, the drop-off is steep. And in today's league, where pressuring quarterbacks consistently is not a luxury but a necessity, that lack of depth isn't just inconvenient, it's potentially fatal to their entire game plan. Behind the starters, the Bears are left hoping that potential suddenly turns into production. Second-year pass rusher Austin Booker has shown flashes, but with just 1.5 career sacks to his name, he remains unproven. Dominique Rubino enters his third year with little impact and a resume marked more by inactive games than real progress. Daniel Hardy created 4 pressures last year, but only in 31 snaps. That's not a trend, that's a blip. And this isn't just about rotating bodies, it's about survival. The NFL doesn't let even the best pass rushers play every snap. Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa, these guys come off the field to stay effective. What happens when Sweat needs a breather? Or worse, tweaks an ankle? The Bears let 3 rotational edge defenders, DeMarcus Walker, Darrell Taylor, and Jacob Martin, walk out the door in free agency, and they never replaced them. That's a staggering gamble for a team claiming to be ready for real contention. Depth isn't optional. It's how you win in December. It's how you survive January. And what's most frustrating is that Chicago had options. Veterans like Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, and Justin Houston lingered in free agency for months, yet the front office sat still. Sweat's production dip from 12.5 sacks in 2023 to only 5.5 last season wasn't about effort or regression, it was about isolation. Double teams, chips, full slide protections keyed to neutralize him without fear of someone on the opposite side taking advantage. Odiengbo might help some of that, but he's not enough. You don't build a pass rush on one guy in a prayer, you build it with waves. Right now, Chicago's wave is barely a ripple. And if you think the edge room is thin, it might not even be the most fragile unit on this defense. That unfortunate title might belong to the safeties. On paper, the pairing of Jaquan Brisker and Kevin Byard offers a mix of youth and experience, but dig deeper and the risk becomes clear. Brisker's upside is significant, but so is his injury history. 3 concussions, nervous system rehab, and physical limitations that could reappear at any moment. Byard brings veteran savvy, but he's aging, and it's fair to wonder how much high-level football he has left. Behind them, the situation turns bleak. Jonathan Owens, Elijah Hicks, and Tavarius Moore all struggled last season, with Owens especially exposed in a disaster game against Detroit. 2 undrafted rookies were added, but if Chicago is counting on either to survive meaningful snaps in December, they're ignoring history. This unit doesn't just lack depth, it lacks stability. And if it falters, the entire defensive structure could collapse. Linebacker 2 tells a familiar story. Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards give the Bears a strong starting tandem, but there's almost nothing behind them. Jack Sanborn is gone. Ruben Hippolyte, a rookie, has promise but is completely unproven at the NFL level. Noah Soule enters his second year with more questions than answers. The rest of the depth chart is built for special teams, not for keeping pace with explosive offenses in Green Bay, Minnesota, and Detroit. Once again, the Bears are counting on perfect health and, again, ignoring experienced veterans in free agency who could have fortified this group. The picture becomes clearer. Chicago's starting roster, on paper, can hang with almost anyone in the league. But look a layer deeper and the cracks start to show. This is a roster built top-heavy, loaded with star talent, but dangerously shallow. And in an NFL season that stretches over 5 punishing months, that's a dangerous formula. So now it's your turn. Is this Bears team truly built to contend, or are they one injury away from watching it all slip through their fingers again? What's the one move you still think they need to make? Which position worries you most? Let us know in the comments. And if you're invested in this season's wild ride, stick with us, because if the Bears are really about to shock the league, you'll want to be here to see how it unfolds.